Hello gamers, welcome back. Today we have my build video. This has been asked for by quite a few people, so I finally got around to getting it out. Sorry for the wait, I have had a lot of stuff going along in my real non-Baldur's Gate life, so it's taken me a little minute, and also I obviously already beat the game, so this is the only save I have, so I think I'll go through the build a little bit here, and then we'll transition into a different character, and then I can go through the level up sequence for you guys. So if you didn't know, this is a Bard, Paladin, Fighter, multi-class build, and it is pretty sick. I was able to beat the game solo, honor mode, single character, no other people in my party, just this one character the whole game, and it went through a couple different reclasses because basically you can't, the extra attack is really important, and level 5 you get extra attack on Paladin, and then you only get extra attack again with Bard on level 6, so you kind of have to multi-class a little bit weird for endgame. This build enabled me to do a ton of damage, and basically either one or two shot a lot of different bosses in the game. For example, if you take a look at my Merkel fight, I think killed him in 2 turns. I don't think he ever even got a turn because we surprised him. Doing over 400 damage to Raphael in 1 turn, killing the Elder Brain, I believe, in 1 or 2 turns, I can't remember, but essentially, I mean, Orin we killed in a single turn. It just enabled us to do a ton of damage, and also we crafted a build where we couldn't really get hit either. The main 2 things that I did focus on this build was AC and then damage, and then just kind of cutting out any of the other fluff and just having that main game plan in our mind at all times. So that being said, I'll go over the items and stuff later. You can kind of already see what I have going on, a lot of AC items and then a lot of damage items, and that is essentially it. So like I said, with this build, we're Paladin, Bard, and Fighter. I'll start with Paladin, Divine Smite, best thing in the game, gives us heavy armor, it's insane. Paladin, it kind of feels like Baldur's Gate 3 was built for Paladin, with all of the crit items and all of those awesome items that go wrong with being Paladin, and you get rewarded for doing all that damage, and there's a lot of items that either make it so you ignore resistances, and there's not a lot of things that are, for example, resistant to Radiant, so Divine Smites go hard, especially with crits. On top of that, then we went into Bard, which goes so well with Paladin. It's amazing because you get all of those flourishes, plus the spell slots you get up to level 5 with the build that I went for, which is plenty of smites, like more than you can need to kill basically any boss in the entire game in a single interaction. Now, the Bard flourishes give you a lot of different utility, but the most important one, in my opinion, was the defensive flourish, which increases your AC by 4. I don't know what the highest AC was the entire time I was playing this playthrough, but I think at one point I probably had over 40, like 42 with like a mirror image pop, defensive flourish, and then I think at one point my base AC was a little bit higher than 27 when I had the shield. Maybe it would be 30? Something crazy, but yeah, not getting hit it's insane. It's what you kind of need to do to be able to beat the game solo. If you get hit, you die. So where we ended up, like I said, was the 2 Paladin, 8 Bard, and then 2 Fighter. And the Fighter is debatable. I think it's the best way to spend those last 2 levels. There's a couple other things that you could go into, but Action Surge alone is just... Getting an additional action is essentially getting another turn, which when you're playing solo and going first, it enables you to do things just to kill whatever on that first turn, or, it can come in a pinch where something, you get a random miss, you didn't realize that a legendary action was happening, whatever. There's a million different things that could happen that come up that you're like, oh crap, I need my extra action, and then you use it, and then it either saves the campaign or you can end up killing something. I think Action Surge is one of the best things in the game. I'm sure you all agree with me. Something on top of that is in Honor Mode, I don't know about the other modes, but in Honor Mode, you don't get your extra attacks on something like a Potion of Speed Haste, but you do still get your extra attacks on an Action Surge. Meaning, so instead of only having like 3 attacks when you use a Potion of Speed, you can have 5 attacks in that first turn, which obviously when you're doing potentially up to 100 damage a hit in late game with your Divine Smites, your crits, your everything. It could potentially be even more than that, maybe like 150. I mean, all of a sudden you're doing almost like 600 damage or something in a turn if you're using every single thing to hit. But potentially even more than that when you're using something like a Slashing Flourish and hitting multiple enemies. So you can clear an entire room with this kind of build in one turn with the Action Surge on top of everything else. Now, I'll actually go through the level up sequence last. Right now, I will talk about the equipment a little bit. Best helmet in the game for anything that can wear heavy armor. Obviously, you use the Helm of Balduran. You can read what it does. You can't be stunned. You can't be crit, and you get +1 AC. So those are the three biggest things. The healing is just bonus on top. You need, especially when playing solo, you need something that says you can't be crit. It has to be from an item, from your class, from whatever, because crits will end the campaign. Stunning will end the campaign. These are two things that will end the campaign. So this checks off both those boxes, and it gets another AC. It's insane. Cloak of Protection, I just went with the protection, another AC, another saving throw, +1. We got the Helldesk armor. I think everybody agrees that this is like the best, if not one of the best armors in the game, especially when you're going for just max AC. That was why I was using it. 21 AC, can't really beat it. We got the Helldusk gloves. Those give us additional 1 to 6 fire damage per hit. I don't know if these are exactly necessary. I was using gloves of the automaton. I believe they're called, wherever those are. Yeah, these give you advantage on your attack rolls. These are better. I think I had just forgot to swap them in my final fight, because this is a loaded save, by the way. It's honor mode. But the way that Baldur's Gate 3 does it is you still keep you retain your last save even after you complete the game. So this is my last save because I went the evil route, so I never had the epilogue. Regardless, that's neither here nor there. I like these. There's a lot of different gloves in the game that you could make an argument for, but these ones are insane. It gives you advantage on your attacks, which then obviously doubles your chance to crit because you're rolling 2 dice. Something like that. I don't know. Someone that didn't fail Calc 2 can maybe point that out and give me some run the numbers. But more dice, more crits, awesome. AC shoes. There's other good shoes in the game, but again, like I said, not getting hit is the most important thing. So, an AC shoes. Constitution amulet. I think this is the best amulet in the game. The shield amulet is also pretty good. This one's probably better because although Shield Amulet basically says skip your opponent's turn for 1 round, this one, we already have so much AC. Like, we're going to go to 31 after we pop a Defensive Flourish that the Amulet of Greater Health gives us, I think, more wiggle room in terms of not just where we put our stats. Like, so for example, my Constitution is actually 10, but I can go to 23 because I have this amulet. I'll also touch on some items we pop. For example, the Cloud Giant Strength. My strength is also 10. I just pop these every single rest. So all of those skill points can go into other places. Next, we got Killer Sweetheart. Best ring in the game for this build. Guarantees a crit every long rest. So with this and our Luck of the Far Realms, we have 2 guaranteed crits. So it takes our Divine Smites to a whole nother level. We have the AC ring, also insane, and they're +1 to saving throws, and AC again. Just basically the same thing as these 2 other items, which obviously I love, so why wouldn't I love that? That brings us to 27 AC with our +1 from defense, and I think there's actually a bug with the Helldusk armor where it actually gives you another AC. It's somewhere in there. I can't remember what it was, but I looked it up. Maybe you can find it on your own. Because I think if you add up all these numbers, it would come to 26, but it actually is 27 because of something. Who knows? That being said, the bow I use is a dead shot, reduces my critical hit chance by 1. Obviously, more crits, more better. We just want a crit. Crit smite, crit smite, crit smite. Show a clip or something. And then the highest damage sword in the game is the Balduran's Giant Slayer. It's crazy. Would totally recommend for a paladin build. You feel so powerful. there's an argument to be made for the initiative shield plus the I don't remember what the thing is called, but it's like a dueling sword that you get from the Ethel quest. It does a little bit less damage, but you get another reaction. And then since you have the initiative shield, for the first round of the fight, you can basically guarantee that you're first, and then you can unequip it to just have the whatever that sword is called out. But it is a little bit less damage. I don't think it's worth it because of how I have everything set up. I'm basically always going first anyway. Now, something else I will say is I had this helmet. I can't be stunned, right? Something else with this build is during your long rests, you want to make sure that you're popping freedom of movement. Right now I have Weave Walker on condition, which I don't know what I got that from something. It just gives me freedom of movement, but before I had that, I would just pop freedom of movement down here every long rest, then just use like a potion or something to re-get back those that lost spell slot. So then, with the combination between the helmet and this, I can't be paralyzed, stunned, refrain, difficult terrain. Basically, you're unstoppable. So you can't be crit, and you can't be stunned, you can't be paralyzed. We basically eliminate most things that could end the game. Some other small things is I pop Longstrider every rest. Leviathar's Love I got. See Invisibility from the Volo Eye. Obviously, the Cloud Giant Strength Elixir. I got the Most Bloody Inheritance. This is only valid if you do a Dark Urge run, which is obviously... I think it's a little bit better for these solo runs because you get that bonus if you do go the Dark Urge, which reduces your critical hit chance by 2. So we actually have it by 3, so I think we only have to roll 17, and we have 2 dice. It's crazy. On top of that, you get the Invis Cloak early game, and that is huge early game. It lets you run through stuff a lot faster and a lot safer. So if it's your first solo honor mode, Dark Urge, I think, is the way to go. All right, so I loaded up a different character here that I have from an endgame that's not honor mode, so I actually had prior saves to the end of the game, and then I will show the build here. So we're going to go through the endgame build. There's a lot of flexibility prior to that endgame. So for example, you might just want to go look at see where I was in those previous videos, but essentially like up to level 5, I'll just play Paladin, and then when I get to level 8, I'll go 2 Paladin, 6 Bard, and then I'll go to level 8 Bard, and then I think for the last 2 levels, I'll go Fighter. That being said, for the final build, we start Paladin, wherever that is. We go Oath of Vengeance. You can go any of these. I'm somebody that I accidentally break my oath as soon as I get it, so it doesn't matter what type of Paladin. The only thing that matters really in this build is the Divine Smite. Now that being said, we go literally 10 strength. 1 second, get this out of there. We go 10 strength. We max dex. We take 10 constitution. We take wisdom because those are important. We don't want 8 in anything. And 1 second. 17. There you go. Something like this. I think what I did is when I went to Ethel, I got the dexterity +1. So this will go to 18 eventually. So we go 10, 18, 10, 10, 14, 14. This is for final reclass, remember. You would not want to do this early game, obviously. But at the end game, we have our strength pots. So this will go to 27. This will be at 18 from Ethel's hair. Constitution will be at 23. Intelligence, there's not a ton of intelligence saving throws, so this doesn't matter that much. And then there's a lot of wisdom. And you could make an argument to do something like this as well, but it's up to you at the end of the day. So we will go like this and then confirm. Let's keep going. So the first fighting style you want to pick is defense. This will give you +1 to your AC. It's insane, super good. Now, guess what? We're done with Paladin for our Paladin build. That just gave us Divine Smite. So we will now go Bard. The Bard spells don't really matter. We probably won't be using any of them. So just level up Bard. Still Bard, perfect. Again, doesn't matter. Personally, I like to pick... this does matter. Longstrider, super important, super good, underrated. Get Longstrider. Next, again, doesn't matter. Just pick whatever you like. But this does matter. Go College of Swords. This will give us our flourishes. It'll eventually give us our extra attack. The flourishes, I already said previously, but they are super important. That defensive flourish is kind of the core to this build. And then here we'll go dueling. It doesn't matter that much unless you went that rapier or whatever that is, the duelist sword that I said earlier. But this won't amount to much if you go the Baldur's Giant Slayer, which does do more damage at the end of the day. Next, I'll go friends and whatever. This literally does not matter. What does matter though is our feat. We will pick a savage attacker, which essentially when we make a damage roll, we'll roll 2 dice instead and then take that highest result. So average will have much higher damage. Go Bard again, level 7. Doesn't matter. Level up. Just gets more spell slots. Level 8, we go Bard again. I know it's very, very interesting, guys. Guys and gals. Next, we level up again. Doesn't matter, whatever you like. I would probably get Dimension Door. Level 10. Guess what? Bard one more time, and we get our last feat, which is also super important. I go Great Weapon Master. This will give us plus 10 damage to our melee rolls with our what is it called? The Baldur's Giant Slayer, for example. That's important, but the more important part is we get an extra attack essentially with our bonus action after we land a critical hit or kill a target. So we'll grab that. That -5 to the attack roll doesn't really amount to anything because we have so much +1s to our attacks. Wait, do we have a lot of +1s? We have advantage with those gloves that I mentioned. And I think there's +1s to attack. I can't remember. We have 27 strength, so our attack rolls are really good regardless. Now, lastly, we want to go into fighter. We will go into fighter. So here, you want to go great weapon fighting. So it makes it so if you roll 1 or 2 on your damage dice, you have to re-roll them, which is really good. Archery is also really good, but late game, you definitely want that great for weapon fighting because you're going to be mainly using that sword to kill bosses. Then the last level, level 12, we get our fighter. It just increases our health a little bit, and then we also get action surge, which by itself is worth those 2 levels. So then, if you did it right, you will end up with 2 paladin, 8 bard, and 2 fighter, with your stats kind of looking like this before any... oh, well, I'll take the Constitution Amulet off. This is what your stats would look like, and then with it, you'd have this, and then this would be... Dex would be 18, and Strength would be 27 when you pop your Strength pot. I don't believe I have any because I was playing Warlock on this build. Well, that's the build, guys. Please try it for yourself. I had a lot of fun using it. Paladin, I really got sold on Paladin from this playthrough. Obviously, it'll have a special place in my heart, this build, since it was the first time I was able to beat solo honor mode, a single character in honor mode. And yeah, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a great day, and be here for the next one. See ya. Peace.